It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we engage in some light-hearted, beer-related banter. My name is Mark, and joining me in his PE kit and sweaty headband because spring has sprung is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Evening, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That little intro is... I'm trying to think of what would you be doing in spring, and I just imagine you in t-shirt and shorts doing laps of the... doing laps of somewhere.
Okay. Probably one of the more random intros that we've had on the show.
I don't know, we've had some pretty random ones. Anyway, what's new?
Yeah, beer. And beer and more beer over this past week. Really?
What have you had that was interesting?
What have I had that was interesting? Clearly not that much, because I'm struggling to recall anything at all. It would seem. I did have the latest Innis and Gunn offering this week, the Toasted Oak IPA,
Right.
which I've not yet had, and I was actually quite impressed. Certainly one of the better efforts. Not really too boozy. You know that booziness you get from Innis and Gunn.
Yep.
Good flavours, good earthy sort of English IPA flavours. Quite an enjoyable beer actually.
Cool.
What else did I have? Oh yeah, I had a pale ale by Little Creatures Brewing, who are
Australian.
yeah, completely unimpressed
Oh, really?
by that. Yeah, but very overrated. A lot of people seem to rave about it on Twitter. I didn't think too much of it. And the other thing I had, and I know you had one of these, and we bought them when we was out together last week.
We did.
The single hop Citra Pilsner from Weirdbeard that I was talking about with Andy last week. I thought it was absolutely stunning. I thought it was really refreshing, really sort of lemony, citrusy flavours to it. I just thought it was a really enjoyable Pilsner.
It was gorgeous. Untapped call it an American IPA, though.
Yeah, it's not. No,
No,
is it? It's a
not.
Pilsner.
It's lovely and light.
Yeah.
And you
Could
could really...
easily have a couple of them.
Yeah, and you could really taste the citra in it. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Nice and fresh. Cool.
Yeah.
I had as well as that, and trying to get through my collection of Broken Dial and Ridge Harvestine beers that I've still got in the fridge. I had the Boilermaker from Brains.
Oh yeah, what did you think of that?
That was gorgeous. I love that. It wasn't too... The label says it's a whiskey IPA, I
Yeah.
think. And it wasn't too whiskey-ish, and it wasn't too IPA-ish. It was like perfect combo. This went down a treat.
I've had it a couple of times, and the jury's still out on whether I like it or not. I've still got another couple of bottles tucked away somewhere. I think still remnants from the prize that I won at the Great British Beer Festival.
Maybe because the pendulum doesn't swing too far either way, because you like your whiskey-ish beers and you like your IPAs. It's kind of in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of a safe version.
I like safe beers.
I know you do.
Cool. And other than that, I had a bottle of London Pride because my beer shelf, other than show beers, is getting a bit thin, and that was in Sainsbury's, so I picked that up. And that's always a good standard. Yeah. So.
And we did have we did have a good session on the Fuller's beers last week. You and I did.
I didn't know if we were going to mention that, but yeah.
Let's mention it because it's yeah. Well, we're going to now. We I've decided. I'm just rolling with it. We met up with John Keeling from Fuller's last week and had a good old chat with John and reviewed quite a few of the Fuller's beers. And that'll be coming at the end of part one of the season.
If anyone doesn't know who he is their director of brewing.
Yes.
He's really their head brewer, but the head brewer is always a director of the company, he told us. But yeah,
he's been for, what, 30 odd years now?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So we had, how long were we there? A couple of hours?
We had about 2 hours with John. Yeah,
Yeah, and we sampled a range of beers, and oh, there were some good ones there.
there were some very good
Some
ones there.
proper character in some of those beers, and yeah, you'll have to wait and see. The show will be out in a few weeks. It's going to be epic. I have to edit the fucking thing.
You have to edit 2 hours of the three of us chatting.
I'm at the in-laws this weekend, so I'm sure that will keep me busy. Anyway, Stephen,
Yes.
your intro music for your news
Come on
section. Did it.
Yay! Okay, this week's news. So, starting earlier on this week, so actually started today, but obviously you'll hear this on Friday. Nicholson's have got their Spring Beer Festival starting. I've had a little look through the beers that are available, and I just thought I'd give you my appraisal of some of the ones that you might want to have a go at if you're in a Nicholson's pub.
Yep.
Between the 24th of March and the 19th of April. So they've got a range of the Brains craft beers on offer, which I imagine they'll be rotating on the taps, so don't expect to see them all on in one go. So I'd give any of them a try because they're all worth a go. They're all interesting takes on traditional styles.
Yep.
They've got Proper Job by St Austell as well, which I had at last year's Great British Beer Festival, which is kind of a ramped up. No, it's not. That's Big Job, isn't it? That I had last year. So Proper Job by St Austell is a pretty decent Cornish version of an IPA. Give that a try if you see it. They've got a beer on from Great Heck, which are a northern-ish brewery, I think. But I've had a few of their beers now, and they're all pretty decent beers actually. So give that one a try if you see that. And then there's a few more I want to mention. They've got some specialities on for spring, and each of these have got a specific twist to them. So they've got from Rudgate Brewery, they've got a Cherry Pow. Which obviously the twist to that is that it will probably taste like cherries. Wadworth have got an orange peel beer. Ilkley have got one called Rye and Dry. And then Stonehenge Brewery have got a beer called Signs of Spring. And the twist on this beer is that it's actually green.
All right. Okay.
So I might go out of my way to try and find that because I want to drink a green beer. But if anybody does find that and has a go on it, let us know what it's like because it'll be interesting to see whether the fact that it's green makes it taste any different. I don't know. Don't know how they would have made it green. So, in addition to that, they've also got the latest Adnams Jack brand Mosaic Pale Ale, and they have got the Adnams and Camden collaboration Southtown, which we spoke about last week. So that's running for the next few weeks. You can download a program from nicholsonspubs.co.uk for further information.
Very good.
So that's that one. Story number 2. Another brewery have decided they're going to release a ridiculously high ABV beer. This is a brewery we've featured before, Hard Knot from Cumbria, have frozen their latest beer to a temperature of minus 20 degrees to maximise the intensity of its flavour. And the resulting product is a beer called Isoloi, which is 20.4% ABV. So it's a process known as freeze concentration. Not only increases the alcoholic content of the beer, but also helps increase the intensity and complexity of the flavour. So that's going to be available, I think, directly from Hard Knot if you want to try a 20.4% ABV ice frozen beer. And then finally, this week, just a heads up that next Tuesday, the 1st of April, tickets go on sale for the Indie Man Beer Conference in Manchester that will be running from the 9th to the 12th of October. There are session tickets available for the Thursday evening, the Friday evening, Saturday day, Saturday evening, Sunday and then Sunday day, or there's a ticket called the full fat ticket, which for 40 quid gets you access to any of the sessions that you want to go to. Now I'm going up to this year, so I'm probably going to do maybe Friday night, Saturday day, and maybe Saturday night at a push. But tickets are on sale next Tuesday from indiemanbeercon.co.uk.
Pretty good. Is that it?
That's it.
Very good. Did.
Oh, come on, it was a little bit more exciting than that this week. Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. Right, this week's featured beer is a twofer. And we're not drinking two different beers, we're actually drinking two of the same beer. One in bottle and one in can. Now, we got a shipment, literally a shipment of these sent to us. Was that at the end of last year?
It was quite literally 2 days before Christmas they turned up at the Beer O'Clock Show field office.
The field office, I like that. Unlike the studio, which doesn't have, we can't receive packages at the studio.
HQ's a bit shit because it can't receive any post.
This is Pistonhead Lager from Custom Lager. I assume that's the name of the company, the brewery.
No,
it's not.
No, it's Brutal Brewing is the name of the company. I don't think that's on there anyway. Yeah, it's certainly on the top of the bottle.
I've just got a skull on mine.
Have you not got a label around the top?
Oh yeah. Certified by the Board of Brutal Brewing.
Yeah.
Making things black. Okay. They kind of keep
that hidden, don't they? Pistonhead Custom Lager.
Oh, I see. Okay. Pistonhead Custom Lager, right. By a brewery that doesn't like to shout its name out. Anyway, so we got this in bottles, and they also sent us in cans, and I like the cans because they're kind of matte.
Yeah, they're nice, aren't they?
It's quite nice, yeah. So the plan for tonight is we would try and put the bottle versus can debate to bed. Or at least for this beer anyway. See which one is better. We both had...
we do well to put it to bed in one shot.
Yeah. We've both had this beer before. Can't remember if I've had it from bottle before. I don't think you have you, Steve?
I've not drunk any of them from bottles. I did lots of the cans over Christmas, but I haven't tried the bottles yet.
The cans have generally got a good reception. I gave a couple to some friends at work, and they both liked it. I've tried it myself, and I didn't think it was too bad for a lager. So let's see how things go for tonight on the bottles v cans scenario. We're going to go with the bottles first. Now, we're going to drink it directly from the bottle, aren't we?
Yes, we are, and I forgot we was going to do that, so I won't be needing the glass that I prepared.
So, it doesn't have that immediate chemically lagery smell to it.
No, you get a nice
quite nice and wheaty
biscuity malt off of it as well.
Yeah. Now, what do you know about this Brutal Brewing mob?
Okay, they are from Sweden, established in 2011, and they're an offshoot of a larger brewery called Spendrups. Now, basically, what they did, they set up Brutal Brewing as a way of allowing their employees just have a play around with brewing in their spare time. Mm-hmm. So the simple mission is to create great brews and have fun, and that pretty much sums them up. So Spendrups are a much bigger concern. I think in terms of from a Swedish point of view, they have the contract for producing Heineken in Sweden. So okay. they're quite a big brewery. So this is kind of a smaller brewery, just to let them try their arm at different kind of more mainstream brews.
Right. I see. Okay. So shall we get stuck into this bottle of Pistonhead?
Yeah, cheers, mate. Well, the first thing that hits you is it's nowhere near as carbonated as your normal kind of mainstream lagers.
Yeah.
There's carbonation there. It's enough to tickle the tongue, but it's not overpowering.
It's not as thin tasting as some lagers are either.
No, it's got a bit of body to it, hasn't it?
Mm. That's a good way of saying it. That's a much better way of saying it. It's fatter than normal lagers. I don't know how to review a lager, I will admit it. Because with ale, you get, you get your little wave of biscuity maltiness coming one way and you get your hops coming the other. But they have certain characteristics about them. And this has lagers taste different purely by the fact that they're lagers and they're brewed differently. And I don't know what else to say.
All I was going to say was just review it like we would normally review a beer. It's you're looking for flavours. What flavours are you picking up in there? I do agree though. It's very difficult to pick anything specific out. You get a little bit of malt from the flavour. You get a crisp finish. There's no bitterness in there. There's nothing to suggest the hops that have been used. There's no hop profiles. It's almost like you need to almost ask yourself the question of, in terms of a lager, is this a lager you'd want to drink a few of?
Yeah. For me, I prefer this to other lagers because they don't. With some lagers, it's like the wheatiness goes right up the nose as you're trying to drink it. You're getting this like waft. Well, for me, this waft of grassy sweetness through the nose while you're trying to drink it, and it's just really overpowering. And that's the chemically thing I keep talking about when I talk about lagers. It's like this really fake aspect to it. And there's other lagers. I mean, like the the Brooklyn Lager. Sorry, doesn't have that. There's a couple of others that I've had that don't have that. This doesn't have that. But if you get a pint of Kronenberg or you get a pint of something else, you're gonna get that. It's quite gassy as well.
Yeah. I've just been struggling with that for the last few seconds as well. I think that's probably a result of drinking it out of the bottle because it's all forced up the neck, isn't it?
Yeah. But this is a fair lager, I will say. It's definitely better than many lagers out there.
It's definitely one that I drink as well, and if given the option, if I saw this on in a bar, and there was nothing else on that was sort of catching my eye, I would happily choose this over any of the standard offerings.
Yeah.
That were there. I think it's obviously being imported by a UK company, but it's available in Tesco's as well at the moment. Yeah, I've seen the bottles in Tesco's. I don't know if the cans are available in Tesco's or not. But you could just see yourself certainly in the summer on a nice hot day on the beach, in the park, at a barbecue, a kid's party. Yeah. You could quite happily be necking a few of these and enjoying them as well, and being quite happy to go back for more.
Yeah, I'm surprised with this branding that we won't be seeing them in clubs and stuff, in some of the rock bars and stuff, because it has almost like a sugar skull on the front. It looks like a biker type emblem. A skull with flames coming off it. But you can see that in a pub in Camden. You could see that at the Crowbar in London or something like
that. The company that's importing it is based in Camden, and they do have that they do like to support music acts as well. Well, it says the promotional material that they sent through with us said Pistonhead supports artists of all types. We love creativity and individuality. So they are kind of lining themselves up in that kind of way, and they first they got in touch with us after we did the show towards the end of last season where we did the Mastodon beer, and we had some of the little clip of the Mastodon music. They got in touch. They really loved the sound of what you do. would you consider featuring us if we was to send you a shitload of our beer?
We got there eventually. Got there eventually.
Yeah, we're only 3 months late. And I've had a bit of to and fro with them on Twitter about that, because there's an event coming up at Camden at the end of May that I'm going to, called Camden Rocks, and I've asked these guys if they're involved in that in any way, and they've said they might be. So hopefully, it's, as you say, it's one of those that you'd expect to see in sort of like the club scene, at gigs, that sort of thing. It's got that sort of branding and appeal, I think, that would appeal to quite a lot of people.
Yeah. So we finished the bottle. You're struggling to get the final drops out of yours.
Got it. Got the last one. Okay, so what did we think of the bottle? Final thoughts on the bottle before we get into the can.
Probably one of the most drinkable lagers that I've had. Admittedly, I've not tried many of the craft ones apart from like the Samuel Adams or the Brooklyn that you can get in supermarkets. Oh, and the Camden, is it Hell's Lager?
Yeah.
Which I had a pint of a couple of weeks ago and I wasn't a huge fan of it. But apparently they do a unfiltered version which is nicer, which I have yet to try. Yeah, so it's pretty good. What did you think?
Pretty much the same, actually. I think, as I say, you got, in terms of sort of like aroma and that, you got an initial kind of maltiness from it. Initial flavours are just really sharp, really refreshing. A little bit of citrus in there, not overpowering on the citrus, and certainly by no means a bitter finish. Just a nice smooth finish. So it's certainly a very very enjoyable lager that you'd go back to time and time again. I think if you were on a session.
Yeah. Cool. Now, the next stage of tonight's review, of course, is to try it from the can. Now, we all know of the debate of beer, bottle versus can. Many people are moving towards cans because they say it keeps it fresher for longer. Obviously, it's cheaper for the breweries to transport and all that kind of stuff. For transporting, it is.
Yeah, not for production.
Not for production.
It's more expensive for them to produce cans, yeah.
But if you're looking at saving the planet beer by beer, a can of beer is better for the environment than perhaps a bottle is. But what we care about, I don't give a shit about any of that. What I care about is how does it taste. Now, a couple of years ago, when Ghost Ship first came out in cans, we managed to get our hands on some of those. And we were both quite impressed with how it tasted out of a can. And you've also since then had Hobgoblin from a can,
I have.
I believe, and you quite liked it then. And more people are going towards cans for their beers.
Yeah, the 6 Point beer that we did a couple of weeks ago was canned.
Of course. Yep.
Beavertown are launching their cans later on this year. Camden have already put Hells in a can. It seems as though cans are very much the way forward for a lot of breweries, and I am quite literally pissing my pants over the day that Magic Rock potentially put Cannonball into a can, because I can't think of anything more amazing than canned Cannonball.
People will find you lifeless with just a scattering of Cannonball cans around your body.
Yeah, I think that may be the one that will finish me off. Yeah.
Or if they put unhuman Cannonball in cans, we'd be dead.
Let's just pause for a moment and contemplate that.
Right. And back in the room, Steve. Back in the room.
Okay. All right. I finished my contemplation.
Right. Let's crack this can open. And going for a second one of these now.
For the second time tonight. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
There's a difference.
There is. For me, it's slightly more lager. You're getting more of that hops on there. Not so much of that biscuity-ness. Quite smooth as well.
Yeah.
I think. much smoother.
Yeah, I think it's holding more of the carbonation as well, but you are certainly getting a stronger profile on all of the flavours.
Yeah.
Oh, lager's not good to record on. It really isn't.
It isn't, no. I've got some editing to take out some of the boot.
It's
But
like a belch fest tonight. This is.
it's quite nice actually from the can.
Yeah, it is. It's you always expect, because it's in the can, for it to be a lot more fizzy. But and going back to what you were saying at the beginning about the whole debate about bottles versus cans, a can is essentially a mini keg. It's a mini version of the keg product of a beer that you would find. And that's another reason why so many breweries are now going down the road of producing cans, because it gets the finished product as close to their draft product as it can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to this particular beer, it's and where I started that ramble was, it's not as fizzy as I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be slightly more fizzy. The carbonation's there, and it's certainly more carbonated than the bottle, but it's very well balanced as well. So it's bringing out more of the flavours.
Yep. I'm getting more strength from the can as well.
Yeah.
All around, compared to the bottle, it tastes like a more complete beer, this one.
I out of the two, it's the better.
Yeah.
For me, it's I'm beginning to pick up some of the flavours on the hops as well now. In there, there's a little bit of pine, there's a little bit of citrus in there, a little bit of earth, tiny little bit of toffee. It's only subtle hints of those big bold flavours that we're used to with some of the other beers, but it's there and it's coming out more in the cans. I think we may well have possibly solved this debate tonight.
That's it. Sorted.
Sorted, yeah. Another first for the Beer O'Clock show. Cans are best. Everybody, start canning your beers.
I want to say it tastes more beery as well. But I think that's the combination of the strength and the flavours are just mixed in more. With the bottle, you could get the definite hops, wheatiness on one side and the malt on another. With this one, they're all kind of thrown in together. Really smooth, really balanced, really gassy, with a nice bit of strength on it as well. It's a 4.6%, which isn't too bad, really.
No,
it's like a premium lager kind of level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost sessionable.
Yeah,
at that level. And certainly the cans, you can put a few of them in the bottom of your rucksack, bottom of your picnic hamper, and away you go in the summer.
Yeah,
that's winning, isn't it?
Because they're only little cans. These are
perfect train beers.
330ml, perfect train beers. Same amount of liquid as the bottles, but more travelable. Fucking hell. It's like a wind farm in here.
Yeah, very gassy. Very gassy indeed. These are good beers. I've got to say. I mean, they're decent. It's a decent lager. It's certainly one you'd go for before you'd go for any of your mainstream lagers. In terms of maybe some of your craft lagers, that there are probably better craft lagers out there. But if you want something that sits nicely between the mainstream and the wanker, then this is probably it in terms of kind of a gateway beer into more flavoursome beer.
Yep. And doing two of them back to back that quickly is kind of hitting me. I think mainly because the gases are sending me a little bit askew. I've finished mine now. That weren't too bad.
No, that was good. Might have to put a slight health warning on the beginning of this week's show, mate.
make sure things are tied down because it's windy at beer o'clock. Any final? I think we've summed up all that we have to say about these. The cans are better. I think that's without a doubt. The can was smoother and all the flavors were there. Still, both is gassy as hell. But anything else you wanted to add, buddy?
No, I think I've got it all there. Actually, I agree with you. Out of the two, I'd go for the can every time over the bottle. However, if you want to kick back and you like your beer in a glass, put the bottled one in a glass. Drink the canned one from the can.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. And hold tight and wait for the Beavertown cans when they come out in a few months' time, because the beer world is going to go mental over those.
What other Adnams has Adnams done any further beers and cans other than Ghost Ship?
They do their original Southwold bitter in a can.
Oh, okay. Not a fan.
I think that's it. I don't think they do. I can't even. What's their really popular one? Broadside. I don't think they do that in cans yet. No, I think it's just. Go on.
I was just going to say, because the operations to set up a canning facility, even Fuller's don't have their own canning facility, do they?
No.
We were told on Tuesday. So it's not a cheap enterprise. So good on those breweries who are actually putting stuff out in cans, because like you said, it's as close as sticking your mouth under the tap when they're pouring the beer out into kegs for the first time. Very nice, very nice. Right, I think that's about it, mate.
I think so.
I'm going to float out here. And what are we doing next week?
Next week, we've got another guest joining us next week. We have got Johnny from the Beer Channel joining us, and you can find the Beer Channel on YouTube. They do kind of video reviews of beers, but they recently brewed a beer with the Brains Craft Brewery called Black Mountain. So it's another black IPA, I'm afraid, Mark, that we're doing next week. Not that I want to go into it with any preconceptions, though, but I think I might just about be done with black IPAs.
Right.
However, I'm going to be slightly more open-minded about it next week, so I'm looking forward to doing this one. I've not done this one yet. So that's next week's beer. Brains Craft Brewery, Black Mountain, Black IPA with Johnny from the Beer Channel.
Very good, very good. Right, well, until then, one little experiment that Steve and I were talking about before we started recording. It's mainly to see how many of the people that we engage with on Twitter actually listen to the show. So it's we both know we have a decent amount of listeners, so it's not a back patting or anything like that. We just want to see, one, do you actually finish listening, and two, do you engage with us on Twitter? So if you do engage with us on Twitter, send us a tweet at Beer O'Clock Show with the hashtag #CheersGuys, and we'll give you a little wave back. We'll try and mention you on the show next week. But it's just a little bit of fun. So Cheers Guys is the hashtag at Beer O'Clock Show. And the website is beeroclockshow.co.uk, where you can listen to all the previous episodes and see this season's beer list with discount codes from 3 UK stockists. I think it's 10% off at each of them if you buy a beer from the season list, and you can buy whatever else you want with it as well. Right, that's it. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. I'll see you next week.
You will. Cheerio.